Welcome back to episode 2 of Without Notes. We're speaking with the legendary Andrea Eastman. So the collaborative process of casting The Godfather, you both agreed, you and Fred, on Diane Keaton. But then the war began. And the war was nuclear war.
Tell me about it.
I want you to tell us about it.
Okay, well, there was kind of a silent war between Francis Coppola and the studio because they had different visions and they were giving him a very hard time about the budget. And I think we worked 7 days a week, literally, on casting. I would go to sleep dreaming of Italians. And so he would say, Francis would say really terrible things about Robert Evans and Charles Bluhdorn to me, and I never repeated a thing. So then they realized they could trust me. So then I became like part of the family. And but everything they wanted, the studio did not want.
So Mr. Coppola had a vision for the film, but he was not an accomplished film director. Today, when we talk about Francis Coppola, we think about the legendary Francis Coppola.
That's correct.
At this point in the story, he's an Italian film director who's broke and really needs the job and doesn't like the people paying him the money.
Correct.
Right. And you have the confidence. Now, he comes up with some visions, some ideas, some actors. How does Paramount react to his ideas?
Well, what he did was he filmed at his own place in Northern California. He filmed Al as, no, I don't actually think Al was in that. He filmed Jimmy Caan for Sonny. Robert Duvall was set from the beginning. He never had to do anything. He just was offered the part as Hagen, the lawyer. So Jimmy Caan just exploded, God rest his soul, off the, he was just, the camera loved him, but he was brilliant as Sonny.
What's the world? Come on, knock it off. Come on, hey, come on. Sonny, punk. Sonny, sit. No, you go on, sit down.
And again, he was an unknown actor.
Oh, completely. Mm-hmm. And Al was totally unknown, Al Pacino.
So Pacino.
Yes. So then we have real screen tests in New York where, and Francis chose the scene at the wedding where they're just talking. And it was really boring. So, I mean, Al was just like, it just wasn't his fault. It was the scene that was chosen. There was nothing happening in that scene.
But would it be fair to say that very few people, maybe no people, wanted Al Pacino for that movie, except Francis? It was Francis Coppola that said, I know this guy.
And by the way, he wound up getting everybody he wanted, ultimately. So it's just kind of a fun story.
But Al Pacino is nothing.
Nothing. But he wasn't good in the screen test because they thought he was too short. But nobody was good in that screen test because there was a scene with no excitement.
Now, how do you, as the casting director, ultimately convince Robert Evans to go along with some of these very unusual and controversial casting choices?
Well, I was responsible for one person. I mean, I was responsible for a lot of people. But
yes, you were.
But I'll quickly tell you the story.
All right.
So Al, nobody liked Al. And then Jimmy Caan was so fabulous in his little scene. As Sonny, we tested him for Michael.
Right.
And so I was in the Jimmy Caan camp. I just thought Jimmy was amazing. And
so ultimately, in the movie, Mr. Caan plays Sonny, but
I'm going to tell you how that happened, because it's kind of a cool story.
Okay.
So Francis, unbeknownst to any of us, went to a party somewhere, and he met an actor named Carmine Caridi. Carmine Caridi was about 6'6", terrific, by the way, big Italian Goomba, like just cool, okay, but big. And so it comes down to who's going to be Michael. So Francis left to go scout locations in Sicily. Am I allowed to say what he actually really said?
Yes,
this?
you are.
You can just go cast my fucking movie. I am going to Sicily. And he left. Okay. So we had this little screening room at Gulf+Western, and we watched Panic in Needle Park. That was Al Pacino's first movie.
Yes.
He just exploded off the screen.
Gulf+Western was located, I think, at 59th near Central Park.
It's now
a big building.
It's now the Trump Hotel. So it was
Ain't life something?
my office was on the 33rd floor. So somebody was saying they were staying. I said, what floor are you on? I wonder if you're in my old office. But anyway, it was beautiful. You had these great views. So it was decided. So in the screening room was Robert Evans, Stanley Jaffe, who was then president, Charles Bluhdorn, and me. So the four of us are in this screening room. And so we're watching Al. So it's decided. Now, Charlie Bluhdorn never got mad at me. Ever, ever, ever. No matter what.
And he had an explosive
oh my God.
way about
People
him.
were terrified of Charlie. I don't know why I wasn't, but I wasn't. I would make him laugh. I just like, what? Anyway, so it's decided that it's going to be Al Pacino as Michael. And Francis offered poor Carmine Caridi the role of Sonny. Sonny, he was so excited, poor Carmine Caridi gave a party in Brooklyn saying he was going to be Sonny in The Godfather. So I can't do Charlie's accent, but he goes, Andrea, this is our most important movie ever, ever. And you have this pipsqueak playing Michael, and you have this huge Saint Bernard playing Sonny. It doesn't work. So I said, Charlie, we tested Jimmy Caan for Michael because he was so good as Sonny in his test. So I think we should go back. Now that Al Pacino's Michael, we should go back to Jimmy Caan as Sonny, which is obviously who Francis had wanted all along. So Stanley Jaffe goes, oh, you just feel sorry for Jimmy. And Evans goes, no, she's right. And that's how Jimmy Caan got the part.
Wow.
And before they changed their mind, I ran up to my office, and I was one floor below, and his agent was Jerry Steiner. And I called Jerry Steiner, and I said, Jimmy just got the part of Sonny. And I made the deal before they could change their minds.
Your country ain't your blood, you remember that.
I don't feel that way.
I don't feel that way. Well, if you don't feel like that, why don't you just quit college and go to join the army?
I did.
And at that meeting, you'll be assassinated. I like to drink wine more than I used to.
Do you have any idea or any memory of how much Jimmy Caan or Al Pacino
I know
were paid?
exactly what they all
How
got
much
paid.
did Jimmy Caan get paid for The Godfather?
Everybody got $35,000. Wow. Diane, Jimmy, Al. Brando got 100. But
And needed it.
And needed it. But everybody else, and I was never asked to get options on anybody.
Marlon Brando.
He was great. My God.
I did notice.
No, he was great.
I did notice.
So
But who in the Lord's name? How did that evolve?
Mario Puzo. Mario Puzo, that was his idea. Because we made endless lists. I actually thought of Carlo Ponti. I thought he could be interesting as the Godfather. So I loved Mario Puzo. What a wonderful, wonderful, incredible human being he was. But it was his idea. Marlon Brando was his idea. So a lot of the offer is correct, that going to the house and everything.
The
with
offer
Brando.
was a recent TV
Series about the making of The Godfather.
which, by the way, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
The offer. Fiction, nonfiction, or science fiction?
All of the above.
Wow.
Some of it
All of the above.
Some of it was completely accurate. Some of it was just not accurate at all.
Right.
But I thought it was well done.
Yeah, it was.
And I think Matthew Good, who played Robert Evans,
By the way,
amazing.
for those who didn't, won't have the chance to ever know this as fully as you or I, The greatest storyteller in the history of Hollywood may well have been Robert Evans.
Yes.
But the second greatest storyteller in the history of Hollywood may well have been Al Ruddy.
God, you know, I love Al Ruddy with all my heart. I mean, there was nobody more fabulous than Al. Well, the thing I didn't like about The Offer, I was portrayed as having a one-night stand with Al, when in fact we had a 1.5 year fabulous relationship when he was no longer with Francoise.
But he was I mean,
he
both
still
Robert
is.
Evans and Al Ruddy were extraordinary storytellers. I mean, they could tell you a story about emptying a garbage can and have you at
On
the
the
edge of your seat, as if the world had come reborn. It
There
was
was nobody-
remarkable.
He's right. You're right. So, Al Ruddy, you just laughed from beginning to end. He was always up and funny and bigger than life. And Evans is bigger than life. So one of the things in The Offer, they do portray their relationship very well. You can see there's mutual respect.
One of the things I think that is most charming about both these men's extraordinary charisma is their self-deprecation, their humor, their authenticity. They were not only not above saying I fucked up.
Right.
They would announce it with a sense of pride, and it was all so
So
fascinating.
people who never take responsibility, I mean, everybody fucks up. You've got to, just say, I fucked up.
People who never take responsibility ultimately end up broke and tired, exhausted, because it's exhausting to continue to prosecute the world for your mistakes. Anyway, you cast The Godfather. Did you have a sense as the movie was being shot that this is going to be something special, or who the hell knows? I don't know, Michael.
No, I kind of did. Because Francis, I thought his vision and just Mario, first of all, it was incredible to read. I mean, the world, everybody cared about everybody. There were bets who's going to be Michael, who's going to be Sonny, and it was.
So you had a sense that this might well be something special. But even you were surprised at how successful it became.
Yes, but obviously excited. I left Paramount before it came out because I had a big fight with Frankie Blondes. That's another story. But that's why I left Paramount.
Do you think The Godfather could be made today? Do you think that if somebody walked into a studio today and said, I have an idea, I want to make, do you think that...
I think it could, because it was about family.
Okay.
And I also think it all came together. Just everything about it worked.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us on Without Notes. If you enjoyed it half as much as I did, and I hope you did, please share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, and share it just generally. I think there's a lot to learn from this, and we'll be back with our next episode.